Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Claudine.
We're here today to talk about a new law that's been proposed. Well, it's not a law yet. It's proposed. It's H.R. 4450, the Incorporation Transparency and Law Enforcement Assistant Act.
That sounds like it's a wonderful idea, whatever it is.
Vote yes. Okay, so it was introduced to Congress on February 2nd of this year by Representative Carolyn Maloney, Democrat from New York, and is going through the process of maybe becoming a law.
Right.
So let's first talk. We're going to talk a little bit about Carolyn in a moment.
Yes.
But first, let's tell you the basic idea behind the law. It would amend Title 31 United States Code to, quote, ensure that persons who form corporations or limited liability companies in the U.S. disclose the beneficial owners of those corporations or LLCs in order to prevent wrongdoers from exploiting U.S. corporations and LLC companies for criminal gain, to assist law enforcement in detecting, preventing, and punishing terrorism, money laundering, and other misconduct involving U.S. corporations and LLCs, and for other purposes.
Oh, other purposes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right. I do think the ISIS did open up that LLC in Delaware, right? They were, this is pretty, and actually Title 31 is where we find our FBAR, Bank Secrecy Act nonsense, which doesn't do a damn thing. So it would be fitting that this piece of crap go into there. There's so many, I'm looking at this and, you know it's a bad idea because there's several reasons why, but this is completely unenforceable. If you know anything about contract law, there's massive loopholes through this. If you're trying to hide who the beneficial owners were, you could very easily. So this would only catch, like all these laws, does it catch the wrongdoer? No, but does it catch the person who made a mistake that had no impact on anything? Yes. Will it give them horrible penalties? Yes. Will it terrorize people? Yes. Will it give more control to the federal government? Yes. So it hits all the reasons why a Democrat like Representative Maloney would want to do this. It does nothing for effective government or administration, but does give a whole bunch of discretionary control to the federal government. So, right, they're going to want it. And it's actually not going to do a damn thing to stop terrorism. Terrorism? I'm still trying to think here. 9/11, where they did, was there an
LLC?
Was there a Nevada corporation involved there, or was it just sort of like, not the greatest security, we didn't really see it coming kind of thing? Was that it? Yeah.
So Carolyn Maloney's got quite a history. She voted yes for the Hire Act, which is where we got FATCA.
Right.
She also voted yes for the Drive Act, which is where that little passport law is hidden.
Right.
But after she voted yes on that, she then sent a letter to Secretary of State John Kerry. She wanted to voice her concern with, quote, provisions that call for the denial or issuance of revocation of passport for any individual whose tax debt exceeds $50,000. But you voted yes.
Right. But it was the party line, it was a party line vote. Well, they told me to vote for it.
Yeah.
And you can't expect her to read what's there. Yeah. And the Hire Act is where FATCA comes from. That has been driving people around the world nuts and hasn't been doing a damn thing to stop terrorism or increase any compliance. And no one ever debated it. And we know she didn't read it because we know no Democrat really read it and knew what they were signing into power. Just again, they don't want to be responsible or they don't care if the law passes or not. They want to look like they're concerned, right? I want to express my concern. She could go on, because instead of maybe that letter to John Kerry, who can't do a damn thing about it. Well, I didn't sign into the law. Yeah. I'm Secretary of State here. I can't do anything about it. We're concerned about, why don't you get on the floor of that place, that House of Representatives, where you're a member. You can take that floor and say, hey, we need to pass a law because this is really bad what we passed over here.
Did anybody read this?
Right. I just read this. Holy crap. This is a really bad idea. Why don't you go to the venue where, you are a representative. That's what your job is to do. Not send strongly worded letters to people who can't do a damn thing about it. You're the one. What are you doing? But you understand, I don't really pass, I don't think she's, really drives a lot of legislation. She just, I think, probably just goes along. Well, this is one that she's coming. Maybe this is her Me Too. Yeah. Hey, I can think of a dumbass law too. Look at me. Right? She'll be moving up in leadership positions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, they tried to give some, really good reasons why they decided to pass this law. Congress found very few states obtained meaningful information about the beneficial owners of corps and LLCs.
Well, I would say it's like, well, maybe the states don't freaking care. They're fine with it. The states are the one who said it. If the state wants to make an adjustments to its law, they have the ability to make their state laws too. They can do that. If we have a problem, we'll fix it. And also some states want it that way. That's the whole purpose of it. Nevada, Wyoming, they typically don't want. They want to have some people want to have privacy. Privacy is a good thing. No one's doing anything illegal. They just want to have privacy.
Yep. A person forming a corp or LLC typically provides less information to the state of incorporation that is needed to obtain a bank account or driver's license, doesn't name a single beneficial owner. Criminals.
With that, I would say you don't need a driver's license to vote. You don't. You don't need to identify yourself to vote. People have a problem with that. Identifying. So you're saying that voting. Voting without an ID is okay, but having an LLC without a driver's license is not okay. And also, when you open a bank account, it doesn't. You can have all the LLCs you want in the world. Guess what they're going to ask you when you open the bank account? They're going to ask you for an ID. So you need to have that. So what does it matter that this thing you don't need it, but in order to move money around, you're going to need it? So sort of a stupid reason right there.
Criminals have exploited the weaknesses in state formations to conceal their identities. Well, they're going to figure out weaknesses in this stupid law.
Yeah, it's not too hard.
We already did, actually.
Yeah, it's not.
I just read it to you, and you figured out some loopholes. Yeah. And then there are some states where you can form a new corporation or LLC within 24 hours of filing an online application. For a substantial fee, 2 states will form a corporation within 1 hour of a request.
Right. I mean, we need a cooling off period, right? Whoa, what do you plan on doing with that?
LLC.
Whoa, yeah, I'm an LLC. I mean, really, they're trying to make something criminal that's not there.
Yeah.
You're insinuating what? Yes, I want to start business right now, and I want to pay the state extra money to get it back right now, so it's just a little easier for me.
And I guess what I can't wrap my head around is they've made all these laws now where offshore reporting requirements, they're now forcing banks around the world to share information about their U.S. customers. What do they expect? Yeah. If people want to have their identity, maybe not known in some of this stuff,
right.
They can't go offshore anymore. Hey, let's just go right to our own.
I mean, and this is what's sort of alarming is that there doesn't seem to be any respect that for someone who wants to have privacy. There are people in this world who are at a threat for security. And a lot of people come from America who, maybe they would be murdered in whatever country they came from. They're refugees. And, they really need to keep their things under key because somebody will come around, find them, a hitman will come in and murder them. If you're living under that sort of pressure, and that's what they want to do because they've tried it before. And maybe they got someone close to you already. Privacy should be respected. And when the government wants to intrude on us, you better have a really damn good reason, not your conjecture. Well, we think this is going to happen. We think it's going to happen. This is just ridiculous. There is no problem as it is now because the states because the states usually want their money too. The states, the ones who actually make the laws, would have adjusted them. And one of the other issues with this completely violates any spirit of a constitution. Right? Where the Congress gets most of its power from is from the Interstate Commerce Clause. Something has to move in interstate commerce in order to be regulated by the federal government. Exceptions for national defense, foreign relations. There's there's other powers too, but that's really the bulk of it. Now, what happened was, that power was expanded so much where corn grown in your own backyard for your own purposes moved in interstate commerce. That was, part of FDR's New Deal because the Constitution was, stopping FDR from imposing his grand vision of his brain trust on the entire nation. Some of the things that said, hey, you know what, we should go slaughter 10,000 head of pigs because that will drive up the price. And then depression over. No, actually that caused depression. Destroying property never is a good idea. That's economics 101. So that's really what's happened is the states have ignored the Interstate Commerce Clause, 2 exceptions over the last 50 years or so. But really what it is that you have a state LLC. It doesn't move anywhere. It is at the secretary, it's there with the Secretary of State, not of states, of state. No one is moving it around. Now, look, whatever that LLC does might be something that's an action that is, you could regulate, but the thing itself isn't moving. So there's no way in hell if you put this would pass constitutional muster if we had courts that actually looked at that ancient document that must have been written 100 years ago.
It was in cursive, for God's sake.
It was, right, I know, right? Come on. What fun is that?
Where can read that.
Right, and then it's like the F's are S's and that stuff. What the hell was that
Q's
about?
look like twos.
What the hell? Right. The cap. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so ancient, it doesn't really apply to us. But this is just something, there is no... we could really see that most Congress people have no clue what the Constitution says. And they have no clue of what their duties are, apparently. Like, no, why don't you bring a law to, instead of sending a letter to John Kerry, bring it up. Yep. Hey, guys, I think we should do this. I think we should, and then maybe don't pass laws that you're going to have to write a strongly worded letter to. I can't believe that this is affecting people so badly.
What we will do is we're going to put a link below the video where you can actually track the progress. We did this with the passport law. Anytime there's a change, if it passes the House, if it passes anything, you get an email update.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think the
passport
passport law was going to pass. Hopefully this one dies.
I doubt it. Like I said, with the Panama Papers controversy that happened.
And it does have the number one thing going for it, that it increases federal power arbitrarily. So that's really what they're looking for.
So our money's on yes. All right. Well, if you do have a tax issue, if you're concerned about the law, don't hesitate to contact us. You can like and comment below. You can visit us, IRSMedic.com, and also email us, info@IRSMedic.com. You can subscribe to our channel to get more awesome tax updates. Thanks for watching. IRSMedic, the law offices of Parent & Parent, LLP. Real tax attorneys for tough tax problems.